It's very hard to have difficult conversations, to have mature conversations. People in their 40s, 50s, 60s still do the same things that they did as teenagers and in their 20s.
Immaturity, the cult of immaturity. Why are uncles behaving like kids? Why should I look 25 when I'm not? I must arrest aging. I must live another 15 years. What will you do with those 15 years? 15 more years of stupidity. What's the point? No problem with having sex at 75. Mothers are actually jealous of their daughters. They don't want to carry them to the parties. In fact, they introduce themselves as their daughter's sisters. No, she's not my daughter. Yeah, just my kid's sister.
Acharya Ji, I've noticed in myself, and I notice this in others as well, that it's very hard to have difficult conversations, to have mature conversations. I always want comfort. I always want validation. And I notice this especially in the US. People have this fake, have a good day. They don't want to go deep into things. It's very superficial. People in their 40s, 50s, 60s still do the same things that they did as teenagers and in their 20s. One example that struck me was the former president of Harvard University. His emails got released, and he's talking, he was in his 50s, and he's talking to another middle-aged man saying, "Will you be my wingman, and will you help me get this girl?" And the whole culture seems to be revolving around not going deep and just being in this perpetual infant mode.
That's the right word, infantilization. Immaturity, the cult of immaturity. Let's all remain immature because maturity brings responsibility. Have you seen people don't grow up? Have you seen that? In fact, I noticed the transition quite early. Class 10th I did from Lucknow and then I moved to NCR. And even between these two places that are hardly 500 kilometers apart, one of the remarks I made was, why are uncles behaving like kids here? Why are uncles behaving like kids? The way they move, the way they wear, and they want to, look as if they are 18. And if they can't look like 18, they make sure they behave like 18. And that's not youthfulness. That's sheer immaturity. That helps, because to be mature is to realize the futility of what you have been doing so far. To be mature is to move into another higher orbit. But moving into the higher orbit means having the courage to let go of what you had in your present orbit. When there is so much more that you have in your present orbit, it becomes difficult to leave it. That's what industrialization and then this e-age has done. An abundance of objects to be had, a great proliferation. So you say, there are all these things to do. I had my bucket list. I wanted to visit 18 countries. And I had told myself 18 before 35. Before I turn 35, I would be visiting these 18 countries. Now, you know at the back of your mind, having visited 8 of those countries, that the remaining 10 are replicas, more or less mirror images. In fact, if you were not to be told the name of the geography, you might be unable to even differentiate whether you are in this country or that country. It's quite possible. Still, you stick to the old resolve. Now you're 55 and you say, I still have this to do. Sir, there is much more to do. There is a higher responsibility now in a higher orbit. But the lure of the objects tends to keep you an infant. I don't know how many of you would resonate with this one. You remember this, what was that name of that very popular brand of milk powder starting with F? Ferex. And then later on Cerelac, right? So what used to happen was, when the younger sibling would be born, it would be discovered that the elder one, now 6 or 8, is eating away all the Ferex. Whereas he should have outgrown it. Why is he still consuming the part of the younger one who really needs it? Because growing up would mean giving up on the lure, the taste. He has become addicted to what was available to him as an infant, as a kid. And that is what is happening to the entire humanity now. If I grow up, I'll have to give up Ferex. But I am addicted to Ferex, so I won't grow up. I won't grow up. The fact is, growing up has its own higher joys. But wherever there is a higher joy, there is also a higher challenge. Who wants to take up challenges? We would rather enjoy Ferex. Not many people notice it, but this should be declared by United Nations as an epidemic of this century. Immaturity. Immaturity as an epidemic. Daughters telling their mom, "Mama, grow up." And they're right. The mother is younger than the daughter. The daughter has all the right to scold her. Met my batchmates. They advised me to get this hairline repaired. Sanjeev here is smiling. He knows what I'm saying. I was astounded, but it was interesting. Why? Why should I look 25 when I'm not? Why should I look 25 when I'm not? Yes, I would want to stay fit, but that's another thing. This is not a part of fitness, or is it? And Botox and silicone, and I see smiles here. Familiar territory, huh? All kinds of ammunition to deceive the mirror. I'm 45, but I must look 25. I must arrest aging. I must live another 15 years. What will you do with those 15 years? 15 more years of stupidity. What's the point? Better let it exhaust faster. Some of the bestsellers in bookstores these days deal with exactly this thing. How to remain younger, how to live longer. What are they doing in Japan? How do they have so many centurions there? What will you do with your 100 years? Please tell me. Anything even remotely noble, constructive, sublime, anything? No. You want to live longer and younger so that you can feast on more objects. Give me more time so that I can consume more. And that's what those files you are referring to point at. What if I can have sex at 75? Why should I not have that? No problem with having sex at 75. But is that what you live for? And science is making it possible, and it's increasingly happening. People are remaining sexually active for far longer. So fathers are stealing their sons' girlfriends. That's actually happening. So many cases in the courts. The son is suing the father. Mothers are actually jealous of their daughters. They don't want to carry them to the parties. In fact, they introduce themselves as their daughter's sisters. No, she's not my daughter. Yeah, just my kid sister. Kid sis? What is that? Kid or sis? Where does all that come from? An increasingly strong belief that one can be liberated from suffering without any inner illumination or maturity. Freedom from suffering is something you will compulsively always want. Always, always, always. Nobody can enjoy suffering. You will always say, I want happiness. Initially pleasure, then happiness, joy. I want that. Nobody likes to suffer. But what this age is making available to you is the promise of freedom from suffering without growing up. You can have happiness without growing up. That's the promise of the markets. And if I can have happiness without paying the price of maturity, I take the deal. This might be the final epidemic, the crisis of maturity. You can have a president, an 80-year-old. Play a dude, enact a playboy, and in a very cavalier way, just press the nuclear button and pose with it. Yeah. So before being incinerated, you'll have one great truth social post. The dude is posing as if he is 25. Before destroying the planet, he is serenading it. Bye-bye, Earth. See you. Being 80 now does not mean that you are deeper. It means you are more desperate. Ask girls, they'll tell you. They'll tell you in public transport, they avoid uncles more than youngsters. Age is bringing desperation rather than depth. Uncles are far more eager to look fresh and available. And the society rewards that. That's considered cool. I'm not advocating the other extreme. I'm not saying that you should allow your body, your looks to fall to pieces as you grow up. No, I'm not saying that. Maintain a good body, maintain a healthy body, stay strong, but stay clear of inner desperation. That's the right purpose of experience. Experience should liberate you from the compulsion to have repetitive experience. You've already experienced enough. Why do you want to repeat that? That's what age should bring with it. Yeah, I'm 50, been there, done that, liberated. Yeah, son, you carry on. Your day, your time. I've had enough of it. And I have higher peaks to mount. That doesn't mean I'm retired. I have bigger challenges to take up. Higher orbits to fly to. You continue with what you are doing. Yeah. Those chicks are pretty. You want to pursue, go there. Fine. Not for me anymore. I'm not retired. I'm advanced. I'm not out of the league. Now I'm in the pro league. Yeah. I'm not out of the game. Playing a higher game. Won't find too much of that in the US, I'm sorry, but can't say you would find enough of it in India also. So probably the entire world is trying to ape the US in this regard. In fact, if you look at that popular image of Uncle Sam, does he look mature? That one with the tall hat. Huh? He's aged, right? He's not exactly a youngster. But does he look mature by any measure? No. That's what the US is. Aged, but still unsatiated. Filled to the brim, but still hungry. Already the maximum contributor to the carbon count in the atmosphere, but still desperate to emit more. I won't grow up. I won't say, I've had my share, I have done my quota, I won't emit anymore. Not only have I been historically the biggest carbon emitter, I'm still hell-bent on emitting even more. They boycotted the COP30. They're out of the Paris Agreement. The epidemic of immaturity. If the oldies are trying so hard to play it young, let the youngsters take it on themselves to act mature. Would be fair, right? If daddy wants to act as if he is 15. At least let the son or the daughter grow up and act as if they are 30. The planet needs that. Somebody has to grow up. Yes.
Hello. So, Acharya Prashant ji, I would like you to go more deeper into maturity, because when I was thinking about it, what maturity is, it's a very relative term. Like for you, someone else can be, like for me, the term will be different.
Maturity is very simple thing. No dispute in that. Maturity means independence. Why do you call the kid immature? Because it can't live without the mother's body. And when it is even more immature, it lives inside the mother's body. The more dependent you are on any material thing or person or idea, the more immature you are. That's the definition of immaturity. He's not happy at being exposed. This is the protest of immaturity. Do you understand this? The more dependent you are, the more immature you are. That's a simple definition. It's not subjective, not relative. No. I said, right? The definition is implicit in what I already said. That the purpose of experience is to liberate you from the compulsive need for repetitive experience. I'm not dependent on that object anymore, because all experiences are with respect to objects, right? Been there, done that. I'm free of it. That's what maturity is. I'm dependent on an ideology. That's immature. In India, you are 25, you are still sticking to your mother. That's immature. I'm dependent on beliefs. That's immature. I'm dependent on a crowd, an entire society. That's immature. Dependence of any kind is immaturity. See in the pale leaf, that's the epitome of maturity. Been there, done that. Now I am not dependent even on the tree. So maturity does not mean death.
Yeah.
Just giving you an example, an extreme example. Huh? And the very symbol of immaturity is the kid. Can't walk, can't eat, and when in the womb can't even breathe. So dependent in every way. So you call the kid immature. The kid is physically dependent, so physically immature. Most of us remain mentally and emotionally dependent, so we remain mentally and emotionally immature, and that's what I said is the crisis of this age. Physically, we might not be dependent when we turn, let's say, 40. So that fellow is not physically, though he is still physically dependent if he needs someone compulsively to have sex or even ogle. Even that is dependence, right? I need this person because without that body, I can't even go to sleep. A lot of people say that. Unless I have a human, warm human body lying next to me, I can't properly sleep. That's immaturity. That's immaturity. But probably that is overcome when you grow up in age. What's not overcome usually is the mental and emotional aspect of it. You say, unless I hear from that person, I don't feel at peace. That's immaturity. Do you get this? Unless my beliefs are validated, I feel offended. That's immaturity.
So, what I can relate is that marriage is a direct consequence of immaturity, because you are getting a partner to validate.
I never wanted to say that, but you guys are growing up, so I'm glad.
Okay, yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah, that's-